Welcome everyone to the Admitted Student Day. This is the social science session. I want to thank everyone for participating today and joining us as you're trying to wind down your decisions for fall. We're really glad to feature this event, even though we're not in person and we can't give you the grand tour of campus and feed you into all the wonderful things that a typical Admitted Student Day is. But all in good time, we'll be returning to campus and we'll see each other. So this session is going to feature some of our most popular social science majors. You can see here many that are listed that liberal arts and science offers. We're going to go ahead and I will do some brief introductions of who's with us today. We have my co-host, Stellar Tasha Quinn, LAS advisor. Thank you, Tasha. Professor and head of the Department of Psychology, which also includes integrated health studies concentration in behavioral science, behavioral health concentration, Michael Ragazzino. Thank you, Dr. Ragazzino, for attending. Petya Kostanova, she is the assistant professor and director of undergraduate studies for political science. And we have Andres Lopez, a double major in applied psychology and criminology, law and justice, minor in kinesiology, and Jocelyn Bravo, a major in economics with a minor in psychology and criminology, law and justice. And no doubt they are familiar to you should you have attended the college welcome minutes earlier. So we're going to go forward with some presentations from our academic programs, and then we'll go ahead and have some discussion with the group afterwards, and we'll give you time to ask us some questions in chat. But to kick us off, Professor Ragazzino, would you please take the lead? I will stop sharing my screen for you.
Okay, good morning, everyone. As Dean Ressler said, my name is Mike Ragazzino. I'm the professor and department head of psychology. I want to welcome everyone here this morning, and I'm going to talk about two of the three majors that psychology contributes to. One is the integrative health studies, and the second is psychology. And I have the psi symbol in the middle of a brain because psychology also contributes to the neuroscience major. I'm going to speak briefly about the behavioral health concentration within integrated health studies, and then most of the time I'll speak about the psychology major and the two tracks. So just some highlights. The integrative health studies is a interdisciplinary curriculum. It takes curriculum from the life sciences, natural sciences, social sciences, and humanities. And the goal is really to explore how human health and disease impacts culture, social, and economic forces, as well as personal behavior. And so that behavioral health concentration, focuses on the social sciences, including psychology and sociology. And it's a good offering for individuals in a pre-health track. But I am within the Department of Psychology, and let me just kind of define for you what I see psychology is. And we have a very simple goal in psychology, and that's to understand the complete human being. And in order to understand the complete human being, you really have to understand it from different levels or perspectives. And this is really represented in our own department in LAS at UIC. One perspective is the individual and community context. And so community psychologists want to understand how individual and group experience is impacted by their culture and community contexts. We also want to understand the person, how individual emotional and attitudinal patterns of the individual affect well-being and behavior. We also want to understand the mind, how cognitive and affective or emotional processes allow us to learn, feel, interact with others. And maybe at the most lowest level is the brain. how brain systems underlie behavior and psychological functions. And you put all those levels together, and they're really not meant to be separate, but how they interact, and to put all those pieces together in understanding the complete human being. I just want to mention some psychology highlights in thinking about the department at UIC. We rank in, top 25 of all psychology departments across the country. And I highlight that because if you come to UIC and major or minor in psychology, you will be interacting with world leaders in the field. And it doesn't matter what modality in which knowledge is shared with you. You know, what matters is that expertise and that world leadership. And it's so faculty in our department are world leaders, and they are expanding the field of psychology, and you would have exposure to that. We also rank in top 10 in research funding within psychology departments, again, showing the research activity. And Dean Tantillo mentioned, we're one of 4 R1 Research One universities in the state of Illinois. And what that matters is not only in the classroom of getting exposed to the latest research in psychology, but getting direct experience in conducting research with faculty and their graduate students. We also have a program that's abbreviated PER, Psychology Undergraduate Research Readiness Program. And this allows undergraduates to have a mentor as with a graduate student, and also get research experience and also professional development experience to really prepare them for their career. So this is an experience outside the classroom. We also have an honor society called Psy-Chi. They provide course tutoring. So all psychology courses, you don't have to belong to Psy-Chi, and you can get tutoring for. They also have professional development events. They have a matchmaker event every semester that will match you up with a faculty member or a graduate student to get involved with research. They'll have a careers in psychology event. They'll have a careers, how to get into graduate school event. We also offered applied internships as part of our applied psychology program, which I'll say. We also have a diversity advancement committee, and we have undergraduates who serve on that committee that discuss a wide range of issues related to diversity, equity, and inclusion, and also develop events around diversity. And we also have a post-bac program where students, when they graduate, they may not initially go into graduate school or immediately go to their next stage of their career, but it's an opportunity to give them teaching and research experience. They will serve as a teaching assistant for a course, and they also will be matched up with a faculty member to conduct research. And this program has allowed them to be competitive when they apply to graduate programs for really the top programs in the world. And so it's been a program that has allowed them to gain further experience. So that's just kind of some of the highlights for the department. You know, within psychology, we have 2 tracks. We have the BA applied track, and kind of the highlights related to the applied track is that you will take an interviewing and interventions course, and then the capstone is a fieldwork practicum course. And you will do an internship. And even in the pandemic world, students have done internships. Most of them have been virtual internships, but some of them have been mixed, where they actually are on site doing internships. And these students, because they're often working in health settings, have gotten priority for getting vaccinated. But this has really been taking, as the track indicates, applied. You're taking the information you've learned and applying those skills into the community in a real world setting. And a lot of these students, after their internship, are actually hired by the company that has sponsored them for the internship. The other is the science track, the Bachelor of Science. And the kind of capstone for that is taking a laboratory course, and we have a wide range of laboratory courses that we offer. A lot of the laboratory courses that we offer are actually neuroscience courses. It might be behavioral neuroscience or cognitive neuroscience or neuroanatomy courses. And again, these laboratory courses is you've gained some knowledge in lecture courses, and now you're there to apply it, that knowledge, and we really have students do these experiments. One of them is we have students record activity from their own brain using a technique called the electroencephalogram, or EEG. And you can pick up brain activity as shown in this slide from your own brain. And there's something called alpha waves that have frequencies about eight of these blips, 8 to 12 blips per second. And these alpha waves have been associated with inhibitory control and decision making. And right around the time that you start college, your brain is finishing development, and you will see changes in alpha waves across development, particularly in young adulthood. And you can see this. And this just shows an example of a previous psychology major here, Maya Patel, who is now a first year at UIC Medical School. And this just gives you a little bit of a simple experience. And highlighted here is alpha wave activity. And you can see a change with her eyes closed in this beautiful meditative state. And then it decreases when her eyes are open. This just gives you kind of a quick sample of some of the experiences that you have in the lab. And this year we've done hybrid experiences with the lab courses where half the class comes in, they're socially distanced, have proper PPE on, and everything has gone beautifully, and they're still collecting data for their lab experiences. The other track is the applied psychology track. We have over 220 sites that we contract with that students can have experiences with. Some of them are actually on campus. Most of them are in the larger Chicago community. And this just gives you a sample of some of the programs, After School Matters, Family Focus, there's the Youth Guidance one, and sometimes, some of these programs, you have the opportunity to meet the President of the United States. So that's kind of the capstone with the applied psychology program. And these students, after these experiences, can really kind of go all over the world. And some of our students have gone into the Peace Corps. They've done study abroad programs with one of our faculty members, Catherine Engel, who does a study abroad program that is still active and going through with during the pandemic. We've had students get Fulbright scholarships, and we've had students do other study abroad programs to study the brain. So that just gives you kind of a quick highlights related to psychology, and I'll stop there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Ragazzino. We will follow up with questions for you momentarily. Professor Costanova, are you able to share your screen and present? Thank you.
Thank you, Brian, and thank you everyone for being here. Welcome to UIC. I will do a similar overview of Political Science Department, the highlights of our faculty, as well as some of the highlights for our students and special programming that we have for all of our students. Within the political science program, we offer a Bachelor of Arts with a major in political science and a minor. The students who are pursuing the major also have an opportunity to focus in one of two concentrations. Those are not required, so students can take either a general major or choose within the major to concentrate in law and courts or urban politics. And many of our students do that. Many of our students also double major with cognitive or related programs in the college. The field of political science is structured within broadly 4 different subfields, and we offer all 4 here at UIC. And in addition, we have some fairly unique specializations. The 4 subfields of political science are American government, the study of American politics, then comparative politics, which is the study of domestic politics of foreign countries, and this is the area that I tend to specialize in. International relations is the study of relations between countries, the foreign policy, foreign aspect of relations between independent countries. And the 4th major field, subfield is political theory, which is the one that's most closely related to political philosophy. Within, and so those are the 4 major subfields that are present in most departments of political science. And again, as I said, we offer courses in all of them, and our faculty do research in all 4. In addition, what makes UIC program very unique is that we have a very strong concentration in urban politics, which is reflected in the concentration that we offer in the major, but also in the research that many of our faculty do. We have one of the strongest urban politics, most recognized programs in the discipline, and that's reflected. That is reflective of the location of UIC in a major urban city. We also have a strong concentration and strong emphasis on the judicial process, and many of students pursue that concentration as well. Across all of the fields, one of the themes that is available to students is the recognition that the study of politics is a scientific approach, and we applied a science method to the study of politics. So our students are required to take a class on statistical method and data analysis, but they're also exposed to how one does study political science as a science through the courses that they take. Moving on, a little bit faculty. We have 18 faculty members who specialize in all of the areas and offer the classes that the class in the areas that I overviewed. Our faculty members are prominent scholars and teachers. Within UAC, they have received any number of teaching awards, and most of our faculty have been recognized as strong teachers and mentors by UAC students. In addition, many of our faculty receive grants from top foundations, such as the National Science Foundation, Russell Sage, Pew, European Union Studies Association, and many others. So our faculty managed to both excel as teachers, while at the same time maintaining strong reputation as scholars. And here I have listed some of the areas in which our faculty have authored scholarships on. It's really quite broad, reflects the diversity of the faculty that we have, as well as covers many of the areas that that political science specializes in. And in a little bit, I'm going to talk about the particular research opportunities the students have to engage with faculty. Our students are wonderful. Here are some pictures of the activities that they have been engaged in, and here are some highlights for that. We have around 400 majors and minors, and the composition of our students reflects that of UIC. We're one of the fastest growing majors in UIC, and have quite an active and engaged student body. We offer between 22 and 27 different courses a semester. That tends to vary, but we've tried to maintain around that number of offerings, so that students can have a choice of a significant choice of what classes they can take, and have a ability to take classes within their interests. With that said, I also wanted to highlight that the teaching philosophy of the department is to try to emphasize small college experience within a large university, for lack of a better analogy. Our faculty are very engaged with students. They love teaching. They like to interact with students. So while we offer a very small number of large classes that are lecture style classes, many of our classes tend to be on the smaller size. All of our seminars are capped at 30 students, which gives opportunity both for students to know each other, faculty know students, and enhance the interaction experience of the students. So students have an opportunity to get to know their peers and get to know their faculty members, and get to engage with the opportunities that we have for speakers, experiential learning, as we call it. As I mentioned, our students are absolutely wonderful, and they have been recognized as winners of several scholarships in the past that I've listed here. And at least 3 of them have been elected to the Illinois Board of Trustees in the past. Many of them have pursued prominent careers in law, journalism, and politics, among others. And now I want to highlight some of the what we call special programming that is available for our students. This is extracurricular, if you wish, on top. Some of it is beyond the opportunities that students have to learn in the classroom. Within that, the first aspect of that is the possibilities for students to get engaged with their peers within the university, the Pre-Law Society. We run a award-winning mock trial class where students also travel to competitions and have won multiple competitions as future trial lawyers. We have a very active political science student union that does events, professional development, speaker events on their own. We also recognize several of our students as members of the Honor Society of Political Science, Pi Sigma Alpha. And in addition, through the university, students have an opportunity to get engaged through study abroad. Many of our students do that. We encourage them to do that, as well as get engaged with various student organizations. Most of the professional associations and conferences at political science also have an opportunity for undergraduate students to present their research. And the benefit being in Chicago is one of the major regional conferences in political science takes place in Chicago every year, every spring. And our undergraduate students routinely participate in that conference, either by presenting their own research or by attending the conference itself to get more familiar with the academic process. Within the department, we have a series of opportunities for engagement and for again what we call special programming. The department and UAC in particular, but the department has a very strong relationship with the various consulates of foreign countries within Chicago. Chicago is a major city that houses foreign consulates. And UAC has special relationships with those, and through that, we have received funding by the Consular Corps to conduct a foreign policy lecture series. And every spring, one of my colleagues organizes these these lecture series, bringing consular representatives from various countries to talk to our students about events relevant to that country and to the broader world. Similarly, we run a Future of Chicago lecture series that brings in prominent politicians and policymakers within the Chicago area to talk to our students and engage with our students on on topics that are relevant to Chicago. We also organize a National Student Issues Convention that and Constitution Day both happen in the fall semesters. And the purpose of the National Student Issues Convention is to get young adults, college students from really across the country to get together for a day-long event and bring to the front issues that are most relevant to them, that are of their concern. And we bring in political leaders to listen to the young students, the young voters, of what are the issues that really are of concern to students that might not be, that politicians might not be aware of or might not be interested in paying enough attention to, bringing young voters to the forefront in a conversation, a political conversation. Similarly, we engage with events to educate students and the broader public about Constitution Day and the importance of the political institutions across within that context. Broadly, UIC is recognized as one of the leaders of civic engagement within the field of political science, and we have really a wide range of activities that relate to getting undergraduate students, young voters, to be aware of political issues, political problems, and get engaged with that. We through the leadership of our faculty, we have a early voting site and a series of activities that happen around the multiple election times around the year. Additionally, within the department, we have several other opportunities for students to get engaged and get experience that might be relevant outside of the classroom. We have a very active internship program, which is through a class that is offered with the department, so students get academic credit for participating in the program. And historically, our students have had internships and in any number of areas, not just legal offices, local, municipal and state offices, the consular corps, various other opportunities such as political campaigning, and other international organizations and businesses that might be located within the Chicago area. We strongly encourage our students to get engaged in their own research and conduct their own research. This is typically done through a course that they take for supervised reading, and work with a particular faculty member to develop a study, a research project. Many of our students are also engaged or they're members of the Honors College and conduct studies through the capstone program of the Honors College, as well as pursue an honors thesis within the department. And again, this is the experiential learning component of our program is very strong, and all of our faculty are encouraging of students pursuing those opportunities. And to recognize the ability of the skills that students develop through those programs, we conduct annual writing contests where students get an opportunity to submit a research project they have done for recognition and for a small monetary award. And to wrap up, through the programs that we have, the courses that we offer, we encourage students to think analytically, to use data and statistics to analyze real events, to understand political behavior, and to develop processes that will help them apply those skills to not just political but broader societal processes. And as you see, our students have been successful in pursuing careers in any of these areas that I have listed here. So I think I'm going to stop here, and I'm happy to answer any questions later on.
Great. Thank you, Petra. So before and I'll just again in the chat, I've invited all of you to post questions to this group. Should you have any direct ones, I'd like to kick us off with questions. I know in the larger college session, we talk about all these big ideas of support across the campus and within the college. But here we're in the social sciences session talking about majors and programs. And I was wondering if Jocelyn and Andres, maybe Jocelyn, you first, if you could talk a little bit about faculty-student connections that you've had. I know when you're a first year and a sophomore student, you're navigating your gen eds, you're discovering what your academic interests are. And I often hear from students, especially upperclassmen, that it was really in their major where they felt at home and where they started to really make strong connections. And so maybe it's research or independent studies or anything like that. We'd love to hear your experiences. Thank you.
Definitely. Like I mentioned at the first session, I was originally pre-dental and I took Principles of Microeconomics as a general education course requirement during my first semester at UIC. And then I took Principles of Macroeconomics my second semester and I absolutely loved it and considered a minor in economics because my professor, Mr. Bill Rauscher, and he actually was someone that I worked with my second semester to work on a supplemental paper to meet an honors college requirement. So he was there to mentor me through investigating NAFTA and also the effects of that deal between the United States and Mexico. So there's a lot of support, there's a lot of mentorship. I definitely regret not taking enough advantage of it my first 2 years. As I got older, I definitely did more by asking questions during class, by going to office hours or drop-in hours with my professors. They've all been incredibly helpful with not only recommending classes to me, but also to discuss post-undergraduate goals. I'm interested in public policy, and they've been more than helpful in recommending other professors to talk to, programs, especially programs that have an economics program with it to see like how it could balance policy and economics. And in terms of research, we have an incredible faculty that works in labor economics, that works in public finance and macroeconomics. There's an abundance of research opportunities that, again, I didn't take advantage of. I took that advantage of under the Department of Psychology, but the economics department definitely has incredible professors that if you were to drop in and ask about their research, they would be more than willing to talk about it and possibly even offer research assistant positions. I highly recommend you guys to check out the undergraduate research website that we do have, and that has a list of research opportunities under all departments, including economics. And with those research opportunities, you can, like I said, you can go to different departments, and we have a few awards like the Chancellor's Undergraduate Research Award and the Liberal Arts and Sciences Research Initiative, I believe, award, LASRI, that allows you to get paid for the semester or the year. And with LASRI, you're also able to develop a research project. With Cura, I actually wrote a research paper under the supervision of Dr. David Dubois, who was my research project supervisor. I don't know, Dr. Michael, if you know Dr. David Dubois, but he was incredible. So what I love the most about social sciences is how interdisciplinary it is. You don't have to focus on just one department. There's an abundance of opportunities.
Thank you, Jocelyn. Andres, did you want to follow up?
I just want to say just a couple quick things. There's so many different opportunities given. Once you get really connected to a professor, you can also, you can talk to them, go to their office hours, and then possibly even get into their research lab. One thing that LAS has is the undergraduate research experience, which is so good to kind of get you connected to professors in LAS. Not even just in LAS, it's other colleges as well. But you can always read what professors are researching, how you can get what qualifications you must have to kind of get on their research team. You can always reach out to them directly via email. There's so many different opportunities. I sadly really haven't gotten connected yet, well, into the research field yet. But I have talked to Dr. Baker and Dr. Reutman, two psychology professors, and they're wonderful. And you, like I said, you have to know what they're researching to kind of decide whether or not you want to join that research team.
So, I know you've highlighted some of this in your presentations, both Mike and Pachi, but I was wondering if you could, as any strong student stories stand out, or any anecdotes from your departments regarding student-faculty connections that you'd like to share with our prospective students.
Petra, do you want to go first, or?
No, you go first. We'll follow the order in which we're presenting.
Okay. Yeah, gosh, I think about a student named Grishma Ann Job. Took an undergraduate class with me. She kind of stumbled into college when she was 17 years old. Was working on campus to help support herself through college. She took my class, asked if she could do research with me. She was going to be on campus over the summer. I said yes. She was shocked that I said yes. Because she thought she needed more research experience to get research experience. And I said no. She worked in my neuroscience lab, but then we talked about different aspects of what she wanted to do career-wise. She graduated. She wanted to go into clinical psychology, and then I matched her up with a clinical psychologist. And it was interesting what Jocelyn said. You come to UIC, and you're coming to a Research One university, and there's a lot of psychologists on the West Campus, or medical doctors who have a psychology background that you can get research experience with. But anyways, Grishma graduated. She was the first in her family to graduate from college. And then she served as a post-bac for us. She joined our post-bac program, did a wonderful job TAing, has 2 or 3 publications, scientific publications now, and has got into a clinical program in psychology, which is very difficult to get into. And so she will be starting a doctoral program in clinical psychology, which was her ultimate goal. And so she's come a long way since 17 years old and coming to UIC, and now she's going to be a doctor in clinical psychology.
Great story. I also have several. And thank you for Jocelyn and Andres mentioning the Lazuri and the Cura programs. Those are fantastic, and many of us have several students who have gotten these awards. I'm going to give 2 examples. One is a former Lazuri student, someone who's on their way to pursue law school. There was a student who knew he was interested in Europe and European Union, but did not know much about it, wanted to do research about it, had not even taken classes with me, but sort of approached me and said, I would like to learn from you. I would like to work with you. Do you have any opportunities for research? And I said, of course I do. And so we met, and he started essentially volunteering his time to help me with some projects. And out of that volunteer work came out his idea for thesis, and he applied for the Lazuri program, got the Lazuri grant, wrote a paper on that he just presented recently at the Research Impact Day, and has supplemented his college experience. And even though his thesis does not directly relate to the law that he's going to pursue, it's going to expand his knowledge about other countries and the European Union in particular, and the legal aspects of that, and that I'm sure will come in handy in the future. And then the other real quick example I want to give, I have a Cura student, a student who won a Cura award currently. She's actually an engineering major, bioengineering major, but with minor in political science, because she's really interested in politics and understands that politics is important even if you're pursuing a science technical education. And so she again approached me asking if she has any projects for her to work on, and we applied for the Cura program. She received the award, and she's doing hands-on technical think of on political science perspective work, but you applying her some of her engineering skills, detail-oriented, really good with software, and you applying those to a political science topic. So.
Nice.
Hey, there's a couple of questions in the chat, and I'm sure Tasha will respond to them appropriately. But one question was like, do I have to have psychology in high school to take psychology? And no, and you know, that is the great thing about college. You know, like you want to experience all that you can when you go to college. And so like, you know, who really knows when they're 18 years old exactly what they want to do? So you want to take advantage of that in trying to experience all the courses as possible. You don't want to be in college forever, but you know, you want to have those experiences. And then the other thing that I think is a theme that is coming out again and again, like if you go to college for 4 years and all you did was take classes, like you didn't really take advantage of college. And particularly at a Research One university like UIC, you want to take advantages of all those experiences outside of the classroom that everyone is talking about. And that may mean getting a little bit out of your comfort zone too. Maybe it's not your inclination to talk to a professor or something like that. But that's another great thing about college is, you know, getting out of your comfort zone and taking some risks because you're still within a safe area being at a university.
Yeah, I'd just love to add, you know, I'm a dean, I'm the department head for student affairs for liberal arts and sciences, and you'll see me at orientation if you come for the college welcome and to UIC. But I love these questions in chat that are emerging, and it's a nice intimate group right now. But what we do is we offer over 75 sections of a first year experience class. And after students move through the course in their first term, transitioning from high school to college, we ask them, you know, what was your favorite part of our first year experience class? And overwhelmingly, it's the faculty interviews. And so we really try to like demystify the whole and normalize approaching people about opportunities, because really at UIC, this is your chance to build a really vibrant network and to make a lot of relationships and to explore. And you know, in high school, you experience maybe a dozen disciplines. We have over 43 academic programs in the college and growing. And so this is absolutely the moment to try things out. And that's the whole purpose of general education, is to have you explore new classes, new disciplines that you've never had before. And, you know, you look at Jocelyn and Andres as fantastic examples of students who've experimented in coursework and added minors and programs that they probably didn't initially intend to do. And I'll tell you that if you're not quite sure about what it is that you want to study, a fun stat for you is about a third of the students who come in with a declared major are only in that major still by the time they're juniors. And there's an awful lot of change of major and exploration, because in high school, you didn't have neuroscience, you didn't have gender and women's studies courses specifically. And so, you know, your advisor at orientation is going to help you look at prospective gateway classes to move into particular majors, but none of that's locked in stone. And we really don't have you declaring a major until the end of your third semester with us. So, and we have a lot of choosing a major programming to help explore options and really to figure out like, what are your interests? How do they align with our academic curriculum? And then sort of what are the opportunities within those curriculum that you can take advantage of? So really great questioning, and thanks for the feedback. And I do think this sort of magic happens is where students are finding themselves through their discussions with faculty and course taking and the experiential activities that we have for like independent study or research or any of those opportunities, maybe study abroad. So I'd love to thank everybody for attending.